the Light Nashville. Your favorite Serious Joy cast members and executives join the group of esteemed Unite the Light presenters as they deliver powerful mini-segments that propose innovative solutions in their respective fields of expertise. Take away insider industry tips, consider new perspectives, and connect with the possibilities. In-person and live stream tickets are now available at unitethelight.love. That's unitethelight.love.
Step astrology this week. The key step is step 27. With the full moon hangover still in tow, God serves his children another shot of spirits, this time a triple shot of Uranus with a sun chaser. And would you believe, at step 27. So hide your car keys and join me for Namaste Today. Blessings to my earthly neighbors and galactic family. Welcome to Namaste Today. I am your host, cosmic comedian, Sensei Christopher Witecki, the sensei to serious joy and the guardian agent of the step system. My mission is here to help you and report with you what's going on in each other, basically the ascension process, which I've been waiting for about 19 years to happen, and I'm glad to say it's about to. And I'm helping you each along the way in your personal journey. So it's been a pleasure. It's my 19th year. We're streaming live right now on YouTube, Facebook, X.com, Instagram, and even LinkedIn, which we do pretty well on. If you're in our chat room tonight, hey, say hello. Tell your cousins and tell your friends on there what your sign is, where you're coming from, and let's unite our community. This week's top astro headlines are, on Saturday, the sun conjoins Uranus at step 27. It'll be Saturday evening. That's where Unite the Light will be apexing. Fascinating energy. We'll talk about it in depth. On Monday at 2:45, Jupiter will square the nodes. What that basically means is it's Jupiter's way or the highway, and so you'll energetically need some guidance there. We'll have that in your soul horoscopes. And then on Tuesday, one day after, so this is Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, very quick week, the sun ingresses into Gemini, and we begin what we call the new. We'll talk about that and what it means. But first, let's take a look at the week's moods and your zodiac weather. Today's zodiac weather covers from Saturday, May 17th to Friday, May 23rd, 2025. This week's zodiac weather is sponsored by Be a Helping Hand. With over 30 years of experience in construction and community development, Mark Wright has become a leading voice in purpose-driven urban revitalization. As executive director of the Be a Helping Hand Foundation, he secured over $30 million in financing for affordable housing in Nashville, Tennessee. I've had the pleasure of meeting this extraordinary man, and I cannot wait to have our in-depth talk at Unite the Light. Learn more about his foundation at beahelpinghand.org. Looking ahead at the weekend forecast, it's going to be phenomenal astrology of power and energy, intermingling and playing out over Unite the Light weekend. Let's drill down. On Saturn Day, it's sunny and proficient. Step 26 means that Saturn rules the day on Saturn Day. That means you are taking control of your life and making some concrete devotion to a future you want to see materialize. The key phrase of Step 26 is, I manifest allegiance. You are connecting to people, resources, and that's not just at Unite the Light. The moon in Capricorn adds to the professionalism, as the moon is actually reflecting some of your devotion. The title for this day is Stepping Out of Operational Comfort Zones. You are manifesting a new reality, and that will not feel familiar or cozy at first. And then, at 7:32 p.m. Eastern Time, the sun will conjoin Uranus at step 27. This is the immediate transdimensional launch of whatever your heart was devoted to during the day. From this point until Monday, expect the unexpected. Surprising things may come to light. You may detach from something you thought you were once belonging to, and poetically, the Unite the Light will be holding the first Congress of Light. On Sunday, it's sunny and gliding. Step 27 means Mars rules the day. It's time to move forward and take the right step towards that future. The moon in Aquarius allows you to feel a little detached and view emotionally things from the big picture. The mantra of the day is I manifest flexibility. Remaining flexible using your feelings and intuition is key in order to mastering the day. The title of the day is Surrendering to the Cosmic Flow of the Moment. After the annual conjunction of the Sun and Uranus last night, expect the unexpected. Now let's take a sneak peek at the 5-day moodcast of the upcoming week. You devote yourself to manifesting the Grandmaster intention, and we plunk into Gemini, changing the way we think about ourselves and talk to ourselves. On Monday, it's partly cloudy and tuning in. Step 28 is the Grandmaster step up, Taurus. You're committing to a feeling and holding space for what you intend to materialize. The moon is Aquarius, allowing you to feel and see the big picture, but not get too close. The key affirmation is I manifest the new earth. And the title of the day, reconciling ego and attitude to the heart's intentions. In other words, when the ego or mind has a conflict, turn to the heart for the solution. On Tuesday, it's sunny and warping. Step 29 is the final Grandmaster step of Taurus. You may be tested on anything you learned in the last 30 days around self-worth, materialization, and money. The moon begins in Aquarius with a nice detached feel, but then gets very, very sensitive as the moon moves into Pisces, perhaps bringing up that old dog of karma to tempt you one more time. The key phrase, I manifest the impossible. And indeed you can on this day. The title, navigating the unknown into practical steps. Your heart and your commandments are in connection with each other all day long due to a sextile from the sun to Saturn early that morning. And by nighttime, the sun moves into Gemini, beginning the I think state of awareness. On Wednesday, it's cloudy but not. Step 0 indicates Pluto rules the day. It's time to create new boundaries with yourself and a new premise of how you think. The moon in Pisces will retour some of your karmic issues, making sure the foundation has the opportunity to be fresh. The key phrase is I think blank slate. This is you giving your mind a new opportunity. And the title of the day, defining the logical steps to ascension. On Thursday, the sun comes out to play. It's sunny and twisted. Step 1 means the sun is ruled by love on this day, only focused through the mind. The key phrase is I think I love myself. The moon from Pisces to Aries will feel the exploration of your karma being dried up, and you're now being reborn as a new Aries. The title of the day is I feel faith in my success, and we believe you will. From early on morning, Venus is trining Mars, connecting spiritual energy with aggression and the ability to can do. Then, typing into our deep karma and spirituality, the sun will sextile Neptune at 1 degree Aries, so loving yourself is tied to a new spiritual chapter. And then on Friday, it's partly cloudy but potent. Step 2 means the moon rules the day, and the moon is in Aries, highlighting your feelings and the reaction of the ego at the same time. The key phrase is I think I feel. And the title of the day is downloading the new ego strategy. With Mercury sextiling the North Node around lunchtime, indeed your mind is putting together your spiritual mission and what you think about it.
My name is Mark Wright. I'm an architecture engineer. I run a nonprofit. It's a housing development organization. So I'm a developer. I also have a document management company, engineering. So I would say my light work is really with my nonprofit, where I provide affordable housing for people that's underdeserved, those with disabilities, victims of homeless, victims of domestic violence.
The Unite the Light Lightworker Summit is reborn in 2025, May 17th to the 19th, reincarnating in Nashville, Tennessee, the capital of country music life. If you live to make the world a better place, we invite you to gather and co-create for 2 days. Day 1, meet curated, heartfelt influencers sharing strategies and innovation. Day 2 calls for conscious conversations. Lightworker power panelists discuss industry urgent topics. And for the first time, you requested, we co-created a third day, a 36-hour, ultra-private, closed-door Whisper Summit. We call it Afterglow, where 2 or more gather, featuring high-wattage leaders of light who share unpublished career advice and trade secrets. It all takes place in the luxurious Gaylord Opryland Hotel, where you may enjoy a full spa, poolside drinks, and tasty dining. And don't miss our Honky Tonk Sumper and Step Networking event happening Saturday night. Wear cowboy attire, feast, and learn astro secrets about you and cosmic allies. Consider this an invitation. Let us celebrate our ascension at the brightest gathering of love in the world. Ticket sales are open now at unitethelight.love. That's unitethelight.love. Well, this is your last chance, folks. The last chance to buy streaming tickets for Unite the Light. We'll be taking orders into the middle of the night tonight. It starts tomorrow morning. You can stream and watch the entire thing. The streaming is so well produced. We have commentary from different Serious Choice stars who will be there talking online, coming in. You'll get backstage interviews with almost all the speakers happening. You'll also have access to this video later. We'll talk about that. Free access to Circle, where our community lives, our sort of Facebook for light workers. You'll get that for a full year. And you'll just have great kind of backstage presence there. We have 2 crews on set, and we're just taping this thing till all glory. So If you'd like to be a part of it, this will be a good time. This is your last chance. You don't want to miss out because the energy, when you hear what I'm going to talk about in astrology, you want to be connected to us when we have this Sun conjunct Uranus. I'll explain why, but it'll help you guide you into the potential versus potential breakdown. All right, friends. Well, I'm so grateful. I just want to say before we get going, let's do a little housework and housekeeping. If you're watching on YouTube, be kind and do subscribe. Hit the bell button so you're notified because a lot of times YouTube will not notify our subscribers that we have a live show. If you're watching on a different platform such as Facebook, X, Twitter, or Instagram, please hit the like button if it applies. But if you can leave a comment, that's the best because interaction is viewed as number one when it comes to the algorithms. All right, friends, let's now talk about our planets and transits. We are halfway between cycles in this particular show. In fact, I want to say right now, I should have said a little earlier that we'll be taking a hiatus, actually. Namaste Today Live will be not on the air next Friday and the Friday after. I don't have the dates handy, but we'll come back within a minute. And what that means is that we will have a Zodiac weather up, so you'll get the weather and just a quick, 7-day mood cast. However, we need a break. My team needs a break. We've been working so hard, and we feel like it's also a good time for you to try Serious Joy. $3.99 for a month. You'll have more coverage than you do in this show, more, plus personalized, plus text to your phone. I just can't say it enough, please. Or, of course, you can also come into Unite the Light, because if you're in Unite the Light, you're going to be invited into our circle, which is basically, like I said, a social media for just people who call themselves light workers, which is a person that wants to make the world a better place. And in there, I'll be doing actually astrology sort of updates and sort of, us talking a lot about the aftermath of it all. So actually, you'll get some updates either in Serious Joy or by joining the show. But it does mean that we'll be off the air 2 weeks, but we will have the Zodiac weather, like I said. So it'll be something to tune in for. I'm looking here from my producer. It's the 23rd and 30th are the 2 dates that we will be off the air. AstroMingle will continue to be on the air. We're just lightening the load a bit for our team. All right. Well, interestingly, it's a great, fascinating moment, my friend. First of all, we're between themes. So we're going to have Gemini start next Tuesday afternoon, and that will basically change the theme. We're still, under this theme of manifesting our potential. This is the week where we try to manifest our potential, and our potential manifestation hits historic heights. It's due to the Sun conjuncting Uranus, and it's building up right now. You can kind of feel it already because we are currently in orb to Uranus. We apex Uranus at 7:32 p.m. on Saturday. We actually plan to have Unite the Light on that conjunction because we know as astromagicians how to time things to where the astrology can ping pong us way higher or slingshot us farther than we normally go. That proved to be true last year. Everyone who was at the event felt like they were elevated for like 3 or 4 weeks. They had business opportunity open. They had people they needed to meet. Basically, manifestation sort of accelerated for us, those who went or were connected, because I think we benefited from one another's hearts. And that's something I can't get into now, but it's something I'm starting to realize is the group manifestation is really a true thing. So we're going to do it again this year. We've got it all set up. In fact, we're going to have a special introductory Congress of Light right when that's happening. So that's over so cool. But that said, it's now time to hit potential historical heights. We basically have been a little bit capped in our ability to manifest, which I'm now starting to call materialize now. I think I like the word materialize instead of manifest, because manifest is sort of holding space for, materialize is starting to happen. But nonetheless, we have always been certainly good at it, but we've never been so connected to our souls as we are now. We've never been so awake as we are now. And the potential itself is getting higher. In fact, the full moon we had, which is still hitting me hard, 22 degrees Scorpio, that really shattered the glass ceiling of how one side of you can put limits on your potential. And that was broken, shattered, and opened up just a couple days ago from the tape date of this. And so we've literally shattered our ceiling. We've shattered the limits we put on ourselves. Those are emotional limits, probably bringing up fears that we had. So we're avoiding a fear and thereby, lower grading our value. This week, we're going to actually, now that that roof is gone, right, that kept us there, now that we're running the new spiritual paradigm, which is 7 degrees Taurus new moon, so we loaded that paradigm, it's now time to see how high this baby goes. That's really what it is. And so to do this, our subplot theme this week is surrendering to the cosmic undertow. And, I think our staff was talking about how that's kind of scary sounding because you can drown from an undertow, but honestly, that's the whole point. You're going to feel this week like you might be drowning. You might feel like everything is fading out. And if that's really the case, call 911. But I think really what it is that you are moving away from your routine energy. You're moving out of your basic frequency you've been living in for a long time. And, we tend to feel more vulnerable when the universe gets bigger. So when the world becomes bigger in our eyes, we become smaller, right? That makes us feel less effective, and that makes us feel less powerful. But that's just the experience of being on the roller coaster. What's actually happening is you are surrendering to your new power. You're letting your new power take you for a ride. Nothing will hurt you if it's created by you, all right? Unless you have a self-destructive path. In that case, see a professional. But that said, for all those who don't have a self-destructive path, surrender to the undertow. That means that if you feel like, going on this date with this person because they're just so out of your league is going to make you feel like you're drowning, go, okay? It's okay that you feel like you're drowning. It's okay that you're overwhelmed. As long as you can nurture yourself moment to moment, you'll be fine. And it's going to take some getting used to these new standards that we're putting in front of us and doing. We've been praying for these standards the entire time, frankly. I mean, this is what the whole point of school has been here on Earth. But now it's time to go ahead and surrender it. Let that take you away. Now, the key question for the week is, does my discomfort distort the path of least resistance? In other words, if I'm uncomfortable, does that mean I'm on the wrong path? Because this is the path of least resistance, but it makes me uncomfortable. It's a very good question. I think Robbie did that question. The answer is no, it doesn't. Being uncomfortable does not mean, I could say this is the easiest path, through this jungle, past these two tigers and, around by the saber sawtooth that's still there. And you're like, oh my God, that makes me nervous and scared. Still the path of least resistance. Still the path of least resistance. So it's like part of you is resisting, part of you is upset or worried or discomfort or uncomfortable is really the word. It's discomfort, it's uncomfort. I, for one, hate being uncomfortable. I don't like sweating even if I'm out doing work. I'm like, oh, this is hard. But at the end of the day, yes, I think we have to toughen up. And so ask yourself, over and over again, is this being uncomfortable, does that mean I'm not going to get what I want? No, actually it means you are, because you're willing to face your emotional blocks. And once Jupiter goes into Cancer, which is coming up in June, we're going to be facing a lot of emotional blocks because we're being forced to emotionally mature at a rapid rate. More on that later. So now let's go through what I want to talk about. That's the big picture of things. And what we've got to do here is still finish up the Taurus season. And boy, is it a big finish, as I mentioned. The Sun conjoining Uranus at 27. 27 is a net 9. And net 9 at that level is ultimately, the mastery of your character. It's the mastery of your ability to move forward and make things happen. It's how people view you, is that mastery, so to speak. And so with that mastery, that means that we are basically going to have to perform the next couple of days. And it's the performance in the moment that determines how well you do. Let's say that again. It's the performance in the moment that determines how well you do. You can't cheat this test, and you can't, get the answers ahead of time, because it's really, God has all sorts of little benchmarks. If you're not tall enough to ride the ride, he's not going to let you get on this coaster. And this is one where you can't do 27. You're not going to hit 28, which is the Grandmaster manifestation step number. You can't get to 28. 28 is when you get all the riches and all the wealth and all the things you want. You got to master 27. And here's the trick to it. 27 is what you feel, step 2, and what you sense, step 7. But all you feel is the 9. Let's go, let's go, let's go. 9 is the get it going, the ego, the Aries, the energy that wants to show off, the energy that wants the best, the biggest, the brightest, all those superlative words. But you tend to be caught, the amateur, which I was once, tends to be caught in the outcome, which is 9. The outcome is motion or change. But you have to focus, and we teach this at SeriousJoy.com, you have to focus on the 2 primary step numbers to master the 9. In other words, you have to focus on your feelings first, always first. And that means you have to come to the table with a neutral feeling. If you come to the table feeling bad on a step 27 day, you're probably going to crash somewhere. It's not going to hit. It's not going to happen, because you have to have emotional clarity, and you have to be emotionally clean of your old stuff, and just, put up some boundaries to at least, fake it during that period and then come back with your problems tomorrow. That'd be the minimum, right? So you have to be neutral emotionally. And then the 7, you have to connect into your intuition, which, by the way, some people cannot just snap their fingers and turn on their intuition. So this sort of makes sure that no kids get in to this mastery school. And basically what you do is you feel your intuition, the 2 to the 7, and you'll get the mark. You'll get a set. You'll get go from God. Go. You'll get it. You get cued by the universe. You got to try to believe it. Now, I don't know I'm so excited. We'll be at Unite the Light. We'll be forming our first Board of Light meeting. I'll talk more about that later. And so I think it'll be very inaugural and exciting for us. And I don't know how well I'm going to feel it. I know when I get on stage, I'll probably, use that system 27 to know when to talk or be quiet. But in essence, there'll be a time to act. And that time to act is constructed with the universe. In other words, it's not just you, it's everything around you. The fact that you're listening and you're ready to act is what makes you qualified. The fact that you are listening and ready to act. Most masters just sit there with their hands waiting for what I just told you, to feel and sense it's time to do something. Until they feel and sense that, they don't do it. The master warriors, like Kung Fu and, martial art, any martial art, or maybe even a Marine, the posture to take is not, pointing your gun. The posture to take is to feel and sense if there's any trouble. And, upon that, you can be one moment ahead of whoever the perceived enemy is. So 27 is the master warrior. It's the peaceful warrior. It is the wise warrior. And it is the grandmaster of ego, when you've really mastered it itself. So what that means is, as we go through Saturday, let's walk you through the week. This is a segment I'm calling the day-by-day play-by-play, by the way. It's going to be how I sort of move through it going forward. Saturday is step 26, so you're devoting yourself in the morning. It's about devotion to what you want to grand manifest, your diamond egg project, the big thing that you want to pull off. It's at 7:30 p.m. that evening, that East Coast time, that we have the conjunction. I would imagine that things get more and more and more high-paced, energetic. Perhaps anxiousness comes out of it. Because it's a 9, and that 9 conjunction of Uranus, it means we have the ego's impatience involved. We have, we have all of our strength. We have all of our, again, if you don't clear your emotions and sit there listening to your intuition, then you can bring a lot to the table that doesn't belong. But what you want to do is you want to start the day devoted to something you want to manifest or materialize. And, keep it a feeling mostly over anything, the feeling you want to materialize. And then by that night, you're going to be called to act on it. So that means if you're at the Night to Light and you have this idea to go talk to this person across the way and you get that signal, go talk to them. There's someone there that you need to talk to. If you're chatting online and watching our show live and you start really liking what someone's saying in the chat room, go private them and talk to them. We're being brought together. This is a community thing. And remember, Uranus rules community. So that's the first day. We launch it on Saturday. Sunday is a step 27 day. It's all about the follow through. I don't feel it's about initiation, but if you get a chance to initiate, don't turn it down. There's a lot of bulkiness going on that day. So the ego, people's egos are ruling the day. So they may be a little, triggered. They might be impatient. They might, have issues. But overall, people should be understood as just in their thing, and don't take it personally. That's part of a master ego. But we have some squaring. We have Jupiter squaring the nodes, which we'll talk about in depth, and Mercury squaring Mars, and Jupiter sextiling Chiron. What that ultimately means, without getting nano about it, is that on Sunday, you're for the program, but there's parts of you resisting. Your mind and ego are having a little thing where they're kind of arguing. Jupiter is also arguing with the original spiritual intention. The spiritual intention is, trying to correct Jupiter. So your spiritual needs versus your thoughts and your ideas, Jupiter and Gemini. And so there's a lot of just, kind of getting comfortable and working through it and walking it off. The moon's in Aquarius on Sunday. And so you're kind of detached, which is good. But when you're detached, you tend to pick more up on other people. So you're picking up on other people, although you're not picking up on yourself. So, be mindful of yourself and what you need. All right. So over the weekend, it's basically devote, go, right? You could say today, Friday, is on your mark. Saturday is devote, and Sunday is go. Okay. Saturday night is go. So we're launching our grand manifestation. And then, as we come into the week on Monday and Tuesday, we're holding space. Grandmaster Step 28 is on Monday. This is why I have Afterglow on this day, because we're just going to feel very rich and wealthy and sit around and eat food and meet people, and totally like as if it was the Great Gatsby in the backyard, drinking less, of course. But we're going to be feeling good. We're committing to that Aquarius value because the moon's in Aquarius. So it's Aquarius 2 with that 8. And what we're doing is we're basically materializing the new Earth. You're materializing what you want Earth to be. And that's it. One thing about Taurus is what you want Earth to be. Okay, Earth to be. And so as a result, you are calling for your world. On Tuesday, everything is tested. So realize step 29 means you could be in some sort of, danger. It may look like it's not going to work out. Someone pulls out the funding. You don't have enough money to pay the check. I mean, all these sorts of tests to whether or not you could hold that value. And then we have later in the day, the sun will move into Gemini around 2:54 p.m. on Tuesday. And once we hit that area, we hit what we call the new period. And the new is going to be a complete reboot of the mind. We're not quite sure as a team what day the mind will actually be rebooted. There's a little debate among us on our team. There's several days that look like we could do the reboot, but we do know there's a complete reboot. If you have a Mac, it's like when you hear, I think there will be like a total reboot sometime this month. And when you reboot, you're going to end up with new thoughtware. All right, thoughtware is our little version here of the programming in our head based on our thoughts and a conclusion of our thoughts. So we're launching new thoughtware this month. And ultimately, the new is sort of the name of the program. The program is named after this idea that what's new is something you already knew. all along. So it's kind of like Dorothy had the slippers all along. There's a realization that you knew all along, and just that realization that you always knew, and this is new that you always knew, gives you this new perspective of standing on wisdom. And that's going to be what's so compelling. As things get noisy and chaotic, we all come into our wisdom for the first time. Really powerful. So, that transition happens between Wednesday night and Thursday. And so then we get to Thursday. Now we're starting to love ourselves. We're starting to get excited. The moon's been in Pisces this whole time. And so we've been sort of spiritually feeling ourselves out and feeling how we've grown and seeing how we've grown. After Aquarius, the moon in Pisces, like we're sort of feeling like, wow, that issue's over, this issue's over. And so it is, and so it is. And then, Thursday night, the moon moves in Aries. And this is when things start to speed up and get a little temperamental, okay? So we have a lot of temperament coming up right away with the sun now in Gemini. We have things happening with the Venus trining Mars on Thursday, so we start to get real creative. The sun sextiles Neptune. Now we're taking drugs. So the Neptune together is kind of intoxic. So we kind of go into a bit of a cloud, and then we hit 2 degrees on Friday. So 1 week from tonight, which I will not be on the air once again, this is where we really feel things deeply, and this is where the new may actually download, from what we can tell. We call this downloading the new WeGo strategy. We really start to get some, intuition pouring in. And Mercury sextiles the North Node, so we're kind of being pulled to ourself. So the point is we move into the new. We're very cloudy at first when we upload that program, and then we sort of go into a scan mode. What we're scanning for are viruses and things that do not compute in our inner self. All right, now let's take a look at the planets and the range they'll go. But before I do, one more reminder. We will be on hiatus the 23rd and the 30th. A lot of people say they don't hear us, so we're doing a lot today. 23rd and 30th, we'll be off the air with Namaste Today, but we will be here with the Zodiac weather. So you'll get the 5-day forecast and feel our energy, but we'll be back. We need a break. We'll be back on June 6th for the record. All right, so let's zip through the planets, shall we, and see how they're going. Firstly, with the sun. The sun this week goes from step 26, Taurus, to step 2, Gemini. We will feel the ruckus on next weekend as far as a shift. We said it starts Tuesday night. Really by the next weekend, by Saturday, step 3, you'll be feeling good. So there might be a little bit of unhappiness there. Whereas solid step 27 for Uranus, that means it's now time to act, go forward, innovate your manifestations and materializations. And Mercury zips like a bat out of hell from step 11 to step 23, Taurus, which means we're thinking through all the details and all the things necessary to make it happen. In the Aries spectrum, we still got a party going on. First of all, Neptune at 1, bringing golden light of self-love. So we're really feeling God's love and our love for ourselves. We're actually getting a huge booster shot of self-love right now. So there's no excuses for people feel not supported. Venus goes from 11 to 16 Aries. So we're going to open up and really feel our power in the moment this week. We're going to feel like, wow, I can make a difference. Wow, I really can. So we're just kind of trying on our new suit, if you will, or our new WeGo suit. And Chiron goes from 24 to 25. Now, this is pretty interesting because Chiron is healing our ego to try new things after being hurt. All right, so once bit, twice shy. Chiron's helping us to get less shy about that. So we now can accept the new terms of the deal, the new relationship we'll have. We accept that our relationship is changing. So, for instance, if your character used to be, really important and on camera all the time, or, get a lot of attention from the classroom, now you realize you're going to go into retirement. It's kind of quiet. You might have had some fears, and, come up from slowing down. But now you accept the relationship to the future. And then we start to, really with step 25, we start to forgive. So come step 25, you start to forgive those who have trespassed against you. A tough but necessary step. In Pisces, Saturn hits 29. Now that's a helter-skelter, all right? That means we're having taking responsibility for where the edge lies. There's a spiritual edge. There's a fine line. And so you're finding that fine line between karma and karma free. And the North Node of step 25, indeed, it's karma. The North Node 25 means we are writing our new karma. God is paying attention. It does count. Okay. You will have to full circle that in the end. Now, looking at the emotions of the week, the moon, again, right now, going into tomorrow, the moon is in Capricorn, very steady and rock professional for Unite the Light Day 1. Then the moon moves into Aquarius on Sunday, so we now start to feel independent and free. We start to feel the future for Unite the Light Day 2. Then on Monday, we continue in Aquarius. So this is where we sort of go to the highest degrees of, what's possible. Utopia, metopia, weetopia, yay. That's where we get from Monday to Tuesday. That will be, of course, our Afterglow session. And then Tuesday night, we start to process our karma. Now, from Tuesday to Wednesday to early Thursday, you can see Pisces is the moon. That means you're going to feel through all your karma. Just because you feel it doesn't mean you're living it. And that's what you have to distinguish. Am I living this or am I just feeling it? And you're going to basically say goodbye to karma when you decide you're just feeling it. It's not the real thing. Thursday night, things get strong and a little defensive with the moon in Aries. And then Friday, people are a little tough. I would be nice to one another because we're all a little aggro. and the sun's in early Gemini, and we got a lot to say, and we want to tell somebody what we think. So that's just definitely a time where you should be careful about saying too much. In the Jupiter spectrum and Gemini, Jupiter moves from step 24 to step 26. It's moving very quickly. That means we're starting to really grow now. We have a new belief structure, or we have new thoughtware for relationships. We have a new thoughtware for God, and we have new thoughtware that's helping us make decisions and commitments. So we are growing like wildfire. In Leo, Mars is busting through. 13 to step 16 means our ego is going to try something daring and bold that we want for ourselves. So you're getting a strong go for it from the universe. Just make sure by the end your heart is still open. If your heart closes down at step 16, it's the wrong move. In Virgo, it's South Node at 25. That means actually something very interesting. The destruction of organized religion is what that is. Interesting, huh? Well, we're bringing down those old spiritual values because the North Node 25 is implanting the new ones. So whether or not you went to church, it's all changing. The human collective is changing the way we look at church and organizations. So we might see some interesting headlines from some sort of organized religion because, sometimes the only way a church goes down is with the truth. And then Scorpio, talk about truth. Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio from step 5 to step 6. Now, this is your fears and your worst nightmare. And so you're going to face when you take on the voice of Black Moon Lilith. That's why she's at step 5. So you will be the bad guy. You will be the evil one. You'll be the one talking to you bad. You want to catch yourself in that and redirect your mind. It's not here to do anything but obey the heart. But you might find yourself as your own enemy. And this is really facing fears that make you your own enemy and getting yourself off that enemy path. And then lastly, Pluto in Aquarius, step 3, protect your belief in yourself. Someone asked me earlier in our show, what does that mean, protect your belief in yourself? I don't understand. It means if you go, I believe myself, and then someone goes, are you sure? You haven't been to college? Then you say, no, I'm sure I believe myself. You just default to believe. You don't have any evidence. You don't have to prove to anyone. You have to do anything. You just decide you're going to believe. And they may say, you're a moron, you're naive. That's really, any kind of resistance you get from the world is really you in your spirit fighting yourself, and you're seeing it through the person. So try to see people who argue with you as you are arguing with you already, or you would never have drawn in the person. All right, friends, it's now time to talk about you.
The world is starting to catch on to human design. But what is it? Through combining astrology, the I Ching, the Vedic chakra system, and the Kabbalah, human design provides you with action-oriented strategies to align with your unique energy.
Are you tired of the same old thing? Register today to get a code for 25% off a human design report or a free report with the purchase of a session.
Welcome to the rest of your life. Welcome to human design.
I created Crystal by Crystal because I struggled to hear my inner guidance. Sitting still was never easy for me, but lighting a candle changed everything. Now I combine the energy of fire, crystals, and Reiki to create candles that are more than decor. They are sacred tools for self-care and empowerment. These candles have transformed both my life and my customers' lives. And to deepen your journey, I offer private Reiki sessions. Save with code JOY20 at crystalbycrystal.com. Your transformation starts here.
This is everyone's favorite time. I know. We'll try to be succinct and clear today. And because we're short on time, I'm going to be very quick about this, but very deep. Now, that said, what we're going to talk about today in the Soul Horoscopes is the Sun conjuncting Uranus on Saturday night. Big deal. Means you're going to be blown out. Your mind's going to be blown out something. You're going to have something happen that just pushes you to another dimension. I'm glad I'm going to be with friends, frankly, so I feel safe. But energetically, you just want to feel it and sense it. And so if you get that gut, that pull to make a move or take action, do. Just make sure you feel and sense it's the right thing to do. Then we'll talk about Jupiter squaring the nose, which happens the next day. So Jupiter says, let's go, get your life in line. And that's the North Node and Jupiter coming into a square, basically an intersection. I'll talk about what you have to decide on. You have to reconcile between these two parts of yourself. Then Venus goes into Pisces in a trine with Mars. Venus and Mars both at step 16. Venus at step 16 Pisces, Mars at step 16 Leo. By the way, Leo and Pisces go along fabulously. So energetically, this is going to be sort of a metopia going on inside of ourselves. That happens on Thursday in the middle of the night. So it could bring some interesting wow dreams, but it could also bring like a beauty or a healing. It could be a lot of things. I'll talk about the two areas of your life that are being fused with that. And then lastly, the Sun in Gemini, which happens on May 20th at 2:54 p.m. Eastern Time. This is where the new will be. So I'll tell you, where will you have a new based on what you always knew? All right, let's start then. Let's get a little drinky. And we'll start with Aries. Sorry, Aries, not so loud. Aries, you are, of course, with this conjunction, having a huge booster shot of your potential for abundance. This is where you're lifting the limits of being able to manifest. You're raising the ceiling of what's possible. So you are moving down a higher path. That means that no matter what you're doing, the universe is saying you can make more. And sometimes, remember, making more means spending less. So it's not always more in this literal sense like you like to do. Sometimes it's more available because you spent less in something that you were normally wasting. But expect a career boost or a financial boost or a door to open to sell something you didn't know you could sell, something like that. You might have money sitting right under your nose, something you can sell right now you didn't think about. Just think about that, especially on Saturday night. Later, though, of course, Jupiter scoring the nose the next day. This means that your mind and your faith have to get on the same page. I'm guessing it's your mind that's a problem, but it's time to ultimately get your mind on the right track. So faith, however, you have to go down that spiritual path. It could be that your mind's being rogue to your faith. Your mind knows better and it's doing anyways. That's possible. So you have to be conscious of what that means. But if you have a choice between the two, your mind is the one that's most pliable than your North Node. The North Node is a collective force inside of us. Now, Venus trining Mars means your female and male energy are coming together when it comes to your heart and your ego. So it's time to synergize your heart and your ego. It's time to synergize what you do in life and how you be in life. And so that's the score for you. Put the two together and you find yourself in a good place. Now, that's a trine, excuse me. It's the heart and soul. Forgive me. Heart and soul. I had the little calculator wrong with the houses here. But it means that you ultimately have got to take this faith that the North Node is building, this momentary spiritual thing, and when your heart's worrying about not getting what it wants, have your faith chime in and be like, yo, I'm up here in heaven. It's going to be fine. So I think that's the process with good old Venus. And then Sun in Gemini, the new. For you, it is a complete reboot, Aries. A complete reboot. Thing about Aries is you can't be a good warrior unless you close your mind and focus. You have to put blinders on when you're a soldier. I know, I've been one for centuries. And so I think that perspective that you have means that by the time it's time for a thought war upgrade, you are really lost. You don't know it, but you are. You haven't let enough material in. So for you, I think it's a whole new day. I think Aries are going to learn something, one little thing, and whatever that thing is going to change your whole life. All of a sudden, in one little mark, nothing will actually change, but your whole life will actually have changed just from learning a piece of information. That's my prediction. Swing by with the comments and let me know if I'm right. Taurus, you're going to benefit the most out of all signs on this one, and you deserve it. You've had Uranus in your since about 2017. Actually, that's when it started to hit the fan for Tauruses. Ultimately means that you're now coming into your best potential character. This is where you'll push your character to a new level. All right. But you got to listen to the signs. It could be a response, not initiation for the most part. You may not have to initiate something. You might have to respond properly to something. So be in a listen mode ready to respond. Of course, I'll be on stage, so this is true for me big time. I set it up that way. But it could open doors as a result from this character. So be mindful, no matter where you are, Unite the Light or at home, your actions are speaking much louder than your words this weekend. Now, Jupiter squaring the nodes means that you do have to reconcile between money and your place in the universe and your place in society. So, I think Tauruses to some degree are downgrading the importance of money and seeing value in more places. That's what Jupiter's saying. There's more value than just the cash, Taurus. There's more value than just the cash. In this case, yes, the value is your impressions on the society, what you end up doing for society, what you bring to society. The North Node's in the 11th. So you are being a shepherd of the world right now. With Venus and Pisces and Mars and Leo trining at magical step 16, this is a connection between your 4th house and your 12th, which means that you have to be there for your feelings and respond to your feelings. And if you are responding to your feelings and loving yourself, then you will find that your faith is big and that you have great faith. If you don't respond to your feelings, you'll find that faith starts to fall apart. So respond to your feelings, be there for you. High maintenance, 5-star. And then lastly, what's the new? The new is the way you see abundance and manifestation. And that means that you knew all along how to do it, but you weren't doing it for some reason. But once you stay in that mindset and act like the new is that I always knew, and you own that confidence turns into soul capital real quickly, which means you look very attractive to investors or customers, which is a good thing. So Tauruses are on a good ride right now. Gemini! Gemini, it's almost your birthday. And oh my God, look at your Gemini right now. They're going to reboot any minute now. Most Geminis I know have not rebooted yet. I'm just saying, I know that many of them very closely. They haven't come to me with fresh, sparkly eyes and excited about the future. That means you're holding out to the last second, huh? Well, it may happen right now because that big explosion of the Sun and Uranus is saying it's time now to give in and have faith in God. You might have a test of faith this weekend that if you don't act on, you'll regret, okay? That means that the universe may dare you to do something. And so if you feel it's okay, and you sense it's okay, the 2 and the 7, you feel and sense it's okay, I dare you to do it, okay? Now you have to find out for yourself. This is a test of faith. Faith means you don't know if you're going to die. You feel like you're going to be fine, and you don't know until you don't die that you were fine. So I'm not saying risk your life, but I am saying that, you have to risk in some moment. If you want to build faith, you got to risk that it could all go wrong. You have to listen to what your faith is telling you, and then you got to, respond accordingly and use your own life as a science project and find this stuff out. This is how I did it. Now, the squaring of the nodes the very next day says, okay, you're moving into this new version of yourself. Okay, you're moving into this new career, new potential, new spiritual calling in the world. But that means that your ego has got to be on board. Okay, you have to have your ego on board. Your ego has got to play along. Now you're feeling a little cocky because Jupiter's been in your sign for some time, and that really builds up a lot of artificial self-confidence. It's just your mind running a program. It's not really that it could be there. And so the more you are humble and you follow your spiritual calling and your spiritual mission, the more your ego will stay in check, is what I think that says. Venus trining Mars, the male and female energy coming together. For you, Mars and Leo is your thoughts. So you are be loving in your thoughts. Respond to loving thoughts. Ignore non-loving thoughts. Do you hear me? Ignore non-loving thoughts. They are useless. They have nothing to do any good for you whatsoever. If you ignore loving thoughts and you act on loving thoughts, well, then you're going to find that you really feel strong in the world. What you're going to find during this trine is that you not being loving in your mind creates you not being comfortable in the world. So if you're not being comfortable in the world, it's because you're not egging yourself on in a loving way in your head. And so as a result, you're kind of teasing yourself out there, being your own, bad guy, or whatever that would be. But for you, it's going to be your birthday this week. Happy birthday. And the new for you is what to do. You always knew what to do, but you didn't do it. Why? That's a good question. It can work out over the next month. But the new is you always knew what to do. And this is going to be the rebirth of your character between that month, basically between now, Gemini, and Christmas, Sagittarius. We're going to see Geminis just change before our eyes. Of course, usually when you have the reboot is when you see the most change. They literally look different when they have a new mind reboot. It's crazy. You'll watch out for it, folks. It's going to be exciting. All right. Cancer. Cancer, you are basically rising up to a new level when it comes to your social ambition. You're going to take it up a notch. This is out of your comfort zone, what Uranus is going to do. You're going to have to act more confident than you really are. You're going to have to own something you've never done before. You're going to have to claim that that's yours when you don't really have possession yet. So it's what every person who's aggressive in their career or their interests in life have to do. So you have to kind of take advantage. You're going to be offered something that you can't refuse. Be prepared to say yes, okay? The only way we say no is if you feel and sense there's something wrong with the offer. If that's the case, then it's probably that the offer is prepping you for a real offer, okay? So if you have an offer that doesn't feel right, that means an offer is coming. God, universe is just making sure you can choose correctly. And some Cancers, it's also a trap, it's not the right offer because he's adorable and you can heal him. That's not why it's the author, okay? So the old model has to go. Now, the next day, the square of Jupiter and the nodes, and in essence, Jupiter's trying to expand your faith right now and have greater faith. The North Node's actually in Pisces, which is about your knowledge and your wisdom. And so, for you to go forward with your knowledge and your wisdom, you've got to keep the faith going. That means you have to pay attention to the things that look like it's turning out the way you want versus the things that don't look like it's turning out like you want. And yes, that's the case. There's always details that make anything look like it's either side. It's either the driver's fault or it's the pedestrian's fault. There's evidence to make it look like both almost always, okay? And that's what court's about, is arguing over evidence that looks like both. What makes a difference? The faith part. If you have faith in you have faith you make the right things, that's an extra point to the vote. That means some evidence can appear more real. So you might have a little bit of a toggle between faith and knowledge. Recognize you're here to learn right now and you're here to surrender to what you already know. Now, the Mars-Venus trine for you is going to happen between your third house. So you're basically, excuse me, that's not correct. I'm looking at the wrong one. Here we go. The trine for you is going to actually work between your feelings about your value and where it is that you have value with yourself. So you want to be valuable. You want to do good things. You want to spend your soul capital on cool things. And Venus in Aries is saying, hey, you got to actually open up and accept your legacy, your career, that things are going to change as a result. So I think this is saying is you've got to have your ego remind yourself that you're loved even before the career plays out. You've got to be open and ready to accept the new career thing. But don't let yourself fall in the gutter about money, because if you do, you're going to sabotage the career legacy thing. You have to feel valuable for an employer to want to hire you, okay? If you walk in the door looking poor and run down, not a good employee, okay? Like not someone we want to hire. So you got to walk in there glowing, and that means you have to keep your self-esteem high. You, through self-love, will keep your value high, not your paycheck, not your work history. And then lastly, the new for you is you have faith. What? That's the new. The new is that you have faith. Your faith is correct. Your connection to God is correct. You are talking to God, and you knew it all along. Well, then why didn't you just own it? That's the question. We'll learn about it, that's for sure. But I think by the end of Gemini, Cancers will be incredibly faithful in life. Leos! Leo, you're going to have a phenomenal moment this weekend when it comes to taking your career to the next notch. This will be something I can tell you right now. If you don't say yes upon the offer, they'll pass. So you have to be ready. I'm getting that over and over with each person's reading. You've got to accept it right then. You have to say, yes, I'm interested. Let's talk about it tomorrow. And then negotiate the terms tomorrow when you talk about it. But say yes, okay? It's very important because they're having also a Uranus moment, and they're also going to see that as, well, I took the moment, like Sensei said, kid wasn't interested. He said he has to think about it. Not the person I want to work with. I want someone who knows who they are. So it'll work against you if you don't take it. I'm talking to myself here. I have a Leo rising. Now, Sep 27 also means you're going to be ready to act. Try not to respond, and make sure you're listening to your intuition, okay? Because you can easily fall into greed of a net 9 in the 10th house. It's easy to get greedy or get excited too fast. Got to really feel through it. Now, the Jupiter squaring the nodes, you've been learning for a long time now that you're expanding your presence in the world. Your presence is probably changing. How your reputation is and how it's gotten about is changing. Your social media circle is changing. Your customers are changing. All that's changing. Your world is changing. But at the same time, so are you. Jupiter is, after all, excuse me, not Jupiter, the North Node is, after all, in the house of transformation. It is calling for you to transform. It's calling for you to now make the change necessary for your legacy. So you might have to forego one or two offers in the world, not the one that comes with Sun conjunct Uranus, but you might have to forego an offer or two because it will take you off your path of change. Don't allow an agreement with society to take you off your change path. You've got to completely change, or the emperor will have no clothes. Then we move on to the trine. Now, for you, the trine, of course, Mars is in your sign, so you're feeling kind of aggro and good and sexy again, and you deserve that. But, of course, then we have Venus is in Aries, and so Venus is calling into really your belief structure and what that means. And so I think the way this looks is if you love yourself properly and first, then you're going to really open up and accept some sort of learning. If you come from the perspective of a low self-esteem because you didn't stroke yourself first, then you're going to find you have a hard time accepting the lesson or seeing the lesson. So you really have to be really ego neutral, which means you're giving yourself a lot of love. A lot of love leaves the ego neutral, and then see what opens up as far as learning. Pretty compelling evidence there. Now, the new for you is your social ambition. That's right. You're going to realize that the new version of you is what you always knew would happen. You always knew this would happen, and yet here it is. And there's something to learn there about that. Also, well, what were you waiting for? Interesting also. But the new is that you are where you seek to be. So I would say that Leos, even though they're kind of calming down and pulling back, this is where they actually wanted to be all along. Virgos. The virtuosos are going to be taking a big leap when it comes to life, purpose, and self-mastery. I predict also for the Virgos that you're probably going to have a moment on Saturday, Sunday, where you're offered something that you don't want to refuse. And I think Virgos want a lot of time to process, but I don't think you'll have a lot of time to process. I think you got to process your feelings, and if you sense it's wrong, and make that choice. Some windows only open for people who are ready, all right? And if they stall, if they don't know right away, I mean, I look for it also in associates and contractors. If their heart doesn't light up with the idea, not the idea. If I didn't see them light up, not the idea. And that's changing. Remember, we're not supposed to work. We're supposed to play, which means what we do for a career should be playful and fun. So it looks like you'll have an opportunity. It could be a finishing school. It could be, grad school. It could be something that will teach you something, like a trip around the world. By the time you come back, you'll be so much wiser. So it'll be something that's just sort of like jaw-dropping in the sense of how much you're going to learn and how much you'll change if you say yes. Now, the trine going on, or the square between Jupiter and the nodes, it's basically saying, hey, you are in the progress to change all your relationships in the world. You must change all your relationships in the world. Now, if you have opportunity in career that will take you off that path, that's not cool. You have to continue on your transformation of relationships path. What would take you off the path if it would be wrong? If it's your ex-husband who's asking you, hey, I got a career opportunity for you. It's like chance of a lifetime. I don't know, you're going to be with your ex. Is that really going backwards in a relationship? Is that really what it is? I know we're fine now, but is that what I should do? And the answer is no, you should not. You should not go back. I keep telling everyone, there should no be going back. If you're going back for seconds, anywhere, I don't think you're on the right path. I just don't feel it. You might have to learn that the hard way with a 30-year transit, but you're not on the right path if you're going back to anything, let me tell you. Now, the trine between Mars and female, Mars and female, is, Mars in Leo, of course, is really helping you with your faith. And of course, the North Node is all about, and Venus right now for Aries is all about where your boundaries are. And so what your chart is saying is that if you don't really egg on your own faith, if you don't act on keeping your faith high, you won't be open to change. You have to be high inside, very happy, self-love like crazy, inner pampering like crazy, to be open to the change of boundary, especially if it's an uncomfortable boundary that you're trying to get across. So the harder the boundary, the harder the thing, the more self-love you'll need, is what this is saying. And the self-love on the spiritual level will bring you that door and easiness. Now, for you, the new for you is actually your career and legacy, that you actually have a career legacy that you hadn't considered, that you actually are going to be, somewhere that you probably knew all along would happen, but you didn't let it happen. And why is that? So the new is you knew all along it would be like this, but why wasn't it? And so you've reached a arrival. You've arrived at something you've had a goal for a long time. Thank you, Jupiter, for doing that. And then from this point on with Jupiter in Cancer, it's all about negotiating your place in society. All right. Libras, you are going through a transformation that will bring you closer. So it's funny, it just came to mind. I don't know. It might be a fleeting affair. Basically, you're going to have an opportunity to jump in, okay? To jump in something, to jump on something. Whatever you jump on is going to change your life, no question. And you don't like to do things alone, and that's okay. You're not supposed to. You're a Libra. When you're a Libra, you're supposed to have a buddy always on the other side. Can't teeter-totter alone, okay? So how going to scale heavily on one side? So it's appropriate to have someone. We still want you codependent. We don't want you giving up yourself for them. We don't want you giving away the house. That was the problem, right? And so here's the issue. You've got a transformation when it comes to intimacy and closeness happening. I don't see how you can do that on your own. Okay, so you're probably going to be pulled into something kind of sussy, but whatever that is going to make you feel good. And at that point, there'll be no turning back because you'll realize something very important. So as long as you're safe, Sensei endorses it. Now, the square, however, is between, of course, the node and Jupiter. The North Node is saying you've got to have a higher quality life. You've got to. Jupiter's like, I want to learn the world. I want to master the world. I want to do cool things everywhere. Okay, you can, but if it takes you off your, lifestyle path, then that's not good. So if the opportunity to learn or expand your wisdom will throw off your daily life, cannot happen that way. You've got to somehow have both, all right? Now, the trine of Mars and Venus for you, Mars in Leo says, hey, I am so ready to have my place in the world and find my peeps and, find my group out there. Mars in Leo for Libra is like, I want to find my tribe. And then Venus in Aries is saying, but I've got to really be here for my relationships and not get pulled away and not go too far. And the truth is like, if you love yourself in the world first and don't expect the world to love you, then your relationships will be on track. If you don't love yourself in the world first, in other words, you're out in the world and you're just praising yourself, you don't need anyone to say you look good. You know you do. You're telling yourself that. Then your relationships will be in balance. If you don't do that, you'll threaten the potential of this relationship work you've been doing for so long. Now, for you, the new is life purpose and self-mastery. You knew you'd end up in this spot, but you denied it for some reason. You knew all along, but you didn't make it the new until now. So the new for you is that you always knew this would be your purpose, but for some reason, only now could you make it new. That's the question. Why would it take until now? What was stopping you? Interesting stuff there. Let's take a drink. Scorpios. Scorpio, you're going to break the glass ceiling when it comes to marriage and partnership. So kind of like Libra, bow chicka bow, I would not turn down an offer for a date this weekend, okay? I would not say no. And it's 9, so it could be a little bow chicka bow wow, could be in your department of intimacy and sex. And I would say yes, if you feel and sense it's right, yes. I don't care what you learn. Yes, I don't care what you told yourself you never do again. Yes, yes, yes. I think you'll be screaming yes, yes, yes if you do it. Let's put it that way. There's something you need to learn about relationships you can't see with your reluctance right now. You're too reluctant. You're just being kind of shy or kind of, mysterious in the corner. And you're also like, no, get out there on the stage and dance, So you're going to be pushed on the floor to dance. It leads you to the path of great romance and great connection and great bonds. I've said it over and over again. There's a lot of single Scorpios out there. You're not going to be like this the rest of your life. You are you are the king and queen of intimacy. So you cannot not have that. And so I think they're on the path. The universe is pushing you down that path. There's been other things we had to work on, says the universe, to get you there. But take whatever that is. Go ahead and go across the dance floor and ask him out or get their phone number, right? Do it. You'll be happy you did. Now, the square, however, is between your personal boundaries and also your heart. Truth is, your heart wants it. Your heart does. But you also have to, at the same time, with the North Node, is that you have to have your heart. Your heart has to have it at once. The one that's more important is the heart over the boundaries. So although you got all these big boundaries and all these new ways of framing it, you literally are brilliant at boundaries. So you can figure out a way to have that connection and get away with it. Okay. You can figure out the boundaries necessary, but you have to have what your heart wants. You have to. Okay. If you don't follow your heart over your boundary situation right now, I'll be unimpressed because you're the boundary rulers. You ought to be able to get away with it and find your own way. Come on now. Why did God give you the ability to pick any lock if you weren't going to pick a lock when you needed to? I mean, I'm just saying that's what it's about. Now, the trining going on with you is that Mars and Leo is saying you're ready to go in your career. You're ready to have your adventure. Scorpios are really ready to get out there and make it happen. We're going to see them play a huge role in the new era. Huge. Okay. We have to do a lot of line drawing and you're the experts at it. But Venus in Aries, of course, is calling you to the other energy of being safe, not throwing yourself out of balance every moment, not working too hard, not burning yourself out. And so you're kind of caught between career and burning yourself out. Basically, if you love yourself in your career, if you look out for yourself instead of your boss looking out for you, if you look out for yourself instead of your customer looking out for you, if you don't expect the staff or the people you work with, your colleagues to look out for you, and you just own it, then you will never be out of balance in the day. What the plans are saying is the lack of self-love in the career is what leads you to being taken advantage of. And then lastly, Scorpio, the new for you is intimacy. What? That's right. It turns out sex, intimacy, and whatnot has another layer. You always knew this was the case, but you didn't admit it to yourself. And now the new policy for your boundaries is going to be what you always knew. So you're going to integrate into that expertise, at least a mindfulness and expertise, which you can use for all sorts of things in the world. And so I think when it comes, it could be a specific person is what they're telling me. So you always knew it'd be Bob. You always knew it'd be, Jane. You always knew. And so now you'll know you were right. Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you are going to have this epiphany of the sun conjuncting Uranus, breaking the glass ceiling, if you will, when it comes to lifestyle and performance. Okay, so somewhere in daily life, life can be much better than you may realize. You're holding yourself back, okay? And as a result, you are not experiencing, the historical heights of your manifest potential. So you'll hit historical heights if, in fact, you follow your feelings and your intuition with something at work, okay, something in your daily routine. It's most likely something you do every day. So it's like, you take the kids to ballet, you take these things every day, and then maybe in the ballet place, the teacher's like, you should come out here. You're like, your first reaction is no. And I would say to everyone, by the way, if you're still watching, if your first reaction is no, that's probably the direction. Okay, it's probably the direction. I'll say, at least you heard it, Sag. And so feel it out, sense it out. If it is, do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it. You're not going to get hurt. I don't feel. These are master degrees. We don't get hurt in master degrees usually. Masters don't get hurt. They get disappointed. Okay. Now that said, that square between the nodes and Jupiter for you, for one, is in the 7th. So you're growing in all these relationship patterns. You're growing out of your old relationship. But the North Node at the 4th house says he or she has got to emotionally be grounded, emotionally feel safe, emotionally feel good. You've got to continue growing emotionally. So what the planets are saying here is, look, the emotion thing cannot be compromised. So you just change the rules in relationships. You change what you say. You can change your mind. It's Gemini. You can change your mind. But you can't change the spiritual mission you agreed to before you're born. Well, you can, but that will not turn out well. Now, when it comes to the trining of Mars in Leo and Venus in Aries, these parts of yourself is that, Mars in Leo for you is in your 11th house. So you are, in your heart, you are in love. I mean, in 9th house, excuse me, you're in love with your beliefs. You're in love with your philosophies. You love to learn. You love to travel. I mean, this is epitome of you. Learn, travel, expand. Oh, so much fun. You're a Sag. The North Node, however, Venus, however, I'm getting confused, in Aries is a little different because this is calling for you to listen to your heart, to let your heart rule, to let your heart have what it wants. And so what this is saying is you have to be an internalist when it comes to this belief adventure thing. You've always been one out there who just goes out and meet all the people. And when you're in Rome, you act like Rome, and you just let the outer world just bombard you with cool stimulus. Well, what Mars is saying is you've got to love yourself and your knowledge without having to be in the world. You have to do it without having to be in the world. I'm not saying you can't be in the world. I'm saying you have to have balance, inner world, outer world. And so by loving yourself without going to Paris, okay, it means that you're going to fall more in love here at home. Venus is going to open up. You're going to be able to expand, dilate, and bring in that love. So I guess if you're thinking right now that you're going to find that love in Paris, Spirit's saying, no, that person's right here, right under your toes. Now, the expansion of what I knew is marriage and partnership. It turns out marriage partnership was what you knew all along. And something in you resisted for some reason, took on a different mindset, went down a different rabbit hole, maybe followed what the Catholic Church wanted, maybe followed what your parents wanted. Whatever the case was, you weren't true to you and your thinking, and that's the new. Now you are, and now you're wise. What will you do about it? Capricorn, you are now going to have a breakthrough in personal dreams. This is the chart of serious joy. This is where you are just seriously joyful. This is where you have what I call joygasms, okay? This is where you have this wonderful feeling of, goosebumps and waves of heat going up you, like these moments are just like, you can't believe the joy going through you. I can count on one hand how many times I've actually experienced that, but it does exist. Now, this means that you're going to probably have to take a risk, okay? You have to go for something, go for someone, pitch yourself somewhere you normally would have been reserved or held back. And if you immediately resist, that's a good sign. It's the way to go. Okay, so it's opposite thinking in this particular case. But if you feel it and you sense it, go for it. And don't expect immediate results either, Capricorn. Okay, like someone may go, oh, that was interesting. I can't believe that person said this. And you're like, oh, Sensei just totally, led me down the road. This isn't what happened. Sometimes it's profound. It takes a couple of days to settle in. Okay, so to everyone, I'm not expecting it to be instant. But if you're aware, like myself, I'll know what happened myself because I've watched this stuff, for a living. The square for you is between Jupiter in your 6th, the North Node in your 3rd, and you've got to have a clean, peaceful mind. You've got to have a compassionate mind. You've got to do the compassionate way. You've got to do things properly along the lines of compassion. And so if that's the case, the universe is saying, I'm sorry, you can find another way to work it out. Don't let work or routines or promises or reservations or anything about your daily life, don't let that get in the way of peaceful mind, okay? You can always change a date. You can always cancel and reschedule. And you are sometimes a big stickler about holding on to it for no reason, all right? Other than control, the need for control. The trine with you, with Mars and Leo and Venus and Aries, Mars and Leo is really pushing for intimacy, closeness, sexual connection, falling in love in bed, falling in love at a deep, deep level where you can't really see the difference between you and the person, that kind of closeness. Venus and Aries, on the other hand, has to do with your emotions. And so what this is saying is you've really got to be your own champion of boundaries. You got to love yourself and protect yourself, Mars, if you're going to feel safe. Duh. So you'll have that connection light bulb go off this week. You're like, wow, if I just, love myself, I don't need their affection, or I don't need their approval. I don't need them to tell me they love me again for the 7th time. And so I think you're kind of weaning out of codependency, frankly. Now for you, it's kind of interesting. The new for you is lifestyle work. Turns out you knew all along, and I believe this is Capricorns, you knew a 16-hour day was too much. You knew it, okay? But now it's the new. Now you're going to live that clean lifestyle that you knew had to be. Maybe you're trying to get away with it as long as you could. And this is me telling you, your time's up. Your time's up. Can't get away with it anymore. We're moving on to a higher vibration society. You cannot control people like you own them. I'm not saying you do, I'm just saying some have, okay? Now that said, live in what you always knew, see how far that gets you. I think you're going to find you're more productive, you're going to find you're more profitable, and you're happier with less stress. That's what I believe. Aquarius. Aquarius, you are going to have a profound intention when it comes to your emotional long-term security. This is with family. This is with something that could end up giving you security. If you found out that you were in Warren Buffett's will, well, you'd be pretty secure now, wouldn't you? So if you see Warren Buffett, go say hi. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be something out of the box like that. You feel and sense this is the way to go. Go talk to him. If you get the sense of like, I feel in a sense I should tell him about my childhood, but God, should I? Yes. If you feel in the sense that you should. You can't imagine how these things unfold. Sometimes it's the magic key that person need to hear at the end of the table. And then after, during dessert, they come up to you and like, I can't help but, see what you did there and da-da, and that's your way into something important. So pay attention, okay? We're going to blow the minds of our manifest potential to a new level, but you got to feel and sense it all along. Now, that said, the Jupiter square node for you is the North Node's in the second house, which is money, profitability, soul capitalism, all right? Jupiter's in the fifth, which is love and dreams and creativity. And so what the universe is saying here is like, you have to choose money over fun right now. Money over fun right now, okay? You can always have more fun. You can always find a fun way to have fun. You can always make fun of fun and have you more fun making fun of it. It's like fun is unlimited. It's there. And I know you've been kind of sticklers and bald eagles your whole life, but you're going to come online and be more rainbow all the time. Right now, the universe says, hey, choose first. Choose your money, choose your deliverables, choose your abundance before fun. Now, in a creative project, that would also mean choose the more profitable over the more creative. Choose the more profitable over the more creative this week. Then, of course, with the trine between Mars and Leo and Venus and Aries, well, Venus and Aries for you, of course, is in your third house. So you're opening up to a new mindset. You're opening up to neutrality in your mind, neutral thinking, less defensive. And what this says is you have to really love yourself in your relationships to be less defensive. So if you find yourself arguing with your honey, you haven't loved yourself enough, is what the planets are saying. You have not loved yourself enough if you're arguing with your honey, all right? Or arguing with anyone, frankly. There's there's self-love that's lacking there. So apply that principle and see where it takes you. Now for you, the new is personal dreams and serious joy. Oh, do I love this. That you knew all along you'd end up all happy and, drunk with happiness and sharing all your feelings and looking like a reality show. You knew it. You knew that's what it was going to turn out. You knew it. You knew it was going to be crazy like that. You just acted like you had posture, acted like you were beneath it or it was beneath you. But that's true. You knew all along you're going to have fun like just us, like the rest of us. And not only that, you knew all along you'd probably end up leading this ship we call Earth. And then lastly, Pisces. Pisces, this is great. You're going to have an opportunity in your mind or in a communication or in a deal. Okay, a mind, communication, or a deal. So if someone puts a contract under you, as long as you're, good with contracts, otherwise send it to your lawyer. But pretty much say yes. I would say yes, but I need to send this to my lawyer. That's what I do. Yes, the answer is yes, but let me check this out with my lawyer, and make sure it's all good. You got my answer, it's yes. So they can plan having a yes, and if they trust you, as they shouldn't be hiring you or doing anything with you if they don't trust you, then you're good, all right? So you want to move forward with a new attitude or intellectual property, some sort of a pitch, a contract, or whatever. If it feels and senses is right, say yes, okay? Now, the square for you is actually with your fourth house, your emotions and your emotional security, and your first house, your ego. Now, in all cases, the ego must be on the right path, the righteous path. Pisces are now moving as dream movers to the next level of being a true spiritual influence. You're all being Jesusified, okay? And so you're all going to be your own Jesus in your own way. Jesus knew this the whole time, okay? That's why he led the pack. Now, that said, your ego has got to stay on humble. In the sixth, with this other part here, with Jupiter, Jupiter in the fourth says, I need to feel secure. I need to feel comfy. I need to feel taken care of. Yes, you do. But because Jupiter's there, there's a billion ways to get a pillow and relax. There's probably only one time where you won't make a jackass out of yourself being arrogant or falling into your old self. So put your performance, your behavior, your vibe first, and you will come up with another way to relax when it's over. The Mars and Venus trine, Mars and Leo and Venus in Aries. Well, Mars and Leo is in the sixth house and saying, hey, you're here to live a life of love, a life that you love, a life that you enjoy all the time. Venus in Aries, however, is in your second house. And so Venus in Aries is saying, hey, I deserve to make some money. I want to make some money. I want to make something out of this. I want to, make some capital. And what the universe is saying is like, you can find a million ways, again, to take the easy path and work. Pisces. You can find an easy path. You can find the easy way. And of course, you are, Mars is there. You're very strong. So you'll come up with a different way to find love in that moment. But don't miss the money opportunity. Okay? Don't miss the money opportunity, period. And then lastly, but not leastly, the new for you is family and emotional security. I know there's been a lot of times where you thought you'd end up homeless, or you never have family, or never feel that connection of being one with another group or protected by another group. But you know what? You knew actually you would. You're just doubting. And so the new for you is that you knew all along about your family. You knew all along that you'd have your own version. You knew all along they would turn out okay and happily ever after. But why weren't you allowing that to happen? That's the real interesting question for the next 30 days. All right. That about wraps it up. Beautiful. Look at that. Right at 0-0. Amazing stuff here. Well, friends, I'm going to miss you. I'll be off the air for a couple of weeks, as I said, with at least this show. I will have full service in my service of Serious Joy at seriousjoy.com. It would be a good time to invest $4 in yourself. Just saying. If you haven't tried my service, my God, what are you doing? You don't understand how good it is. It's so good. I mean, it's going to freak you out with the text messages you get in the day. Freak you out. People text me what the fuck? All right. It's that accurate. We are the most accurate astrology service in the world, from what I can tell. In the world. I don't know anyone as sharp as us that are on point that will just spook the heck out of you. So give it a try for $4, please. It's important. We have other things to build, and we need people to see the things that we built first. And you want some guidance. I mean, we're a great guidance service. We got a great team: Robbie Hunt, Kristen Ryder, Daiki Okamoto, who will all be at Unite the Light. So give it a try for $3.99. Also, I wouldn't want to miss this Unite the Light. I'm just saying. I feel like people, you can pay. I mean, we even finance the tickets. You can pay 6 months interest free. Seriously, you can pay 6 months interest free. All right. I heard that most people at Coachella all finance their tickets, all of them, and that was much more expensive than a streaming live ticket. Let me tell you. And so my point is if it means something to you, then prove it to yourself. All right. A lot of people said, I'm worried about the money. I've said, have you lost any income? No, but I'm worried. Oh, what the? Yeah, I need evidence. You know what I mean? Don't operate without evidence, friends, because if there's no evidence, you haven't manifested yet, means you might not. It's equal chance, really. But I hope for you to see you there. It'll be live chat. It's going to be a great weekend, and they'll be off for a couple of weeks. We will be here with AstroMingle, interviewing our friends each Friday night, but we won't be back with Namaste Today until June 6th. All right. You guys have a fabulous little trip there. See you in 2 weeks. I love you. Live, love, be.
Whether you have answers or you're seeking answers,
there's something here for everyone.
The love that is felt in the room, it's unmatched.
Talking to all these other people and all these different stages of life.
Energy changing, next level.
It's allowing me to have tears of joy, not the tears of sadness that I've had for so long.
They've all been super inspiring.
I've been brought to tears.
I'm learning how to love myself.
I've never felt so comfortable in my life.
It has been a blast. Highly recommend.